You're listening to Make Some Noise podcast, Minisode number 625. Welcome to Make Some Noise podcast, your guide for strategies, tools, and insight to empower yourself. I'm your host, Andrea Owen, global speaker, entrepreneur, life coach since 2007, and author of 3 books that have been translated into 18 languages and are available in 22 countries. Each week, I'll bring you a guest or a lesson that will help you maximize unshakable confidence, master resilience, and make some noise in your life. You ready? Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I am so glad that you're here with me for this mini-sode. I don't know if you can hear that little noise in the background, but that was my dog dropping a ball right next to me, staring at me, giving me the stare down, wanting to play. So I'm just going to record this interview or this intro, if you will, and then go outside and throw the ball for her. But I wanted to let you know that like Wednesday's episode that just came out, it was a rebroadcast. Sonia Renee Taylor was on the show several years ago, and it is one of my most downloaded podcast episodes. So I wanted to rebroadcast it for those of you that either never heard it or heard it a long time ago and don't remember anything that was said in it, because I think she has such an important message. So that was Wednesday. Today's minisode is also a rebroadcast. Again, one of my most downloaded minisodes. That always tells me that people saw the title of it and they're like, I need that. So again, whether you have never heard it or you heard it and could hear it again, it would be good for you. That's why I'm bringing it to you again. I'm writing my 4th book, hence being a little, having too much on my plate. And that's why these rebroadcasts are coming out. Next week, we have an all new episode for you. There will be a mix of rebroadcasts for the rest of the year, as well as brand new interviews. One quick thing before we get into it. If you're interested in coming on a retreat to North Carolina, probably early next year, it's going to be here at my house, right outside of Greensboro, North Carolina. Go over to andreaowen.com/retreat. Read about what that retreat is. It's the Daring Way curriculum, some of my favorite curriculum to facilitate. And sign up to be one of the first people notified when I open registration for that retreat. The cost is going to be a little bit lower than my all-inclusive retreats, where I rent out a big, beautiful house in Asheville and all of your meals and your accommodations are included in that. This one would be at my house. I wish I had enough room to accommodate all of you, but I won't. So it'll be kind of like one of those situations where you grab an Airbnb nearby or a hotel. Again, I'll help you with all of that. And some meals will be provided, that kind of thing. So it's a little bit more low-key in terms of logistics, but the curriculum is going to be exactly the same. And you get to come to my house and see where I live and meet my dog that's eagerly awaiting me to play with her. andreaowen.com/retreat. That's where all that info is. Signing up does not obligate you to actually register for the retreat. It just means that you're going to be the first to know when I do open registration. That's all. andreaowen.com/retreat. All right. So without further ado, let's get into today's episode. I have today a short episode on taking small action. Because if I know you, my loyal listener, I know that you have probably listened to hundreds of podcast episodes at this point, not just mine, but other personal development podcasts. You've probably read or listened to dozens of self-help books, probably done a lot of work on yourself just from the awareness alone that you've gained from that, just from connecting the dots even in your life. It's really great to know all of that, right? To know what your triggers are, to know why you tick the way that you do, to know why you react in certain ways when somebody says something or something happens, whether it's at work or with your family or with your neighbor, with your kids, with your partners, whomever else. So I know that you have done a lot of work on yourself. And I'm going to ask you to do a little bit more. Because here's the thing. Sometimes we look at the metaview of how we want our life to change, and it seems too daunting. Have you ever been at that place?
I do that really with any kind of, when I get on like a fitness kick, or especially in my business, when I pull back and I'm like, what do I want 10 years from now? And it's kind of like, whoa, holy overwhelm. And sometimes we look at other people's lives and wonder how we will ever get to the place where we're like them, right? Like I'm using air quotes. The story we make up that is their life, or the story we make up that is their career or their relationship or whatever. Sometimes we feel like there are so many moving parts to personal development where one thing leads to another. One thing that you work on uncovers something else that you need to uncover, and so on and so forth. And where is the end to all this growth? Spoiler alert, there isn't an end. So what I've done is I've compiled a short list, and this is not an exhaustive one. This is just a start of small actions you can do today or this week or sometime soon that will absolutely make a difference in your life. As you've heard me say over and over again, courage, even in the face of fear, brings confidence. That's what will make you a more confident human being. It's the knowledge that we can do hard things. And even if we do the hard thing and fall on our face in the process, we then realize we'll live through it. So in no particular order, here are small actions that you can do today. All right, the first one is having a hard conversation. I talk about this all the time, how important it is. I have a yearly course, Raise Hell. We spend some time on this one, boundaries, hard conversations, and the like. And who is that person you need to talk to? What is the thing you are afraid to say? Do you need to apologize to someone, even if it's been a couple of years and so much time has passed and you're like, oh my God, it's going to be so awkward if I reach out to this person. But what can you do this week to take a step in that direction? It is something that, oh my gosh, I have had to do this, of course, so many times in my life. We are all humans. But even as I just mentioned, that thing where it's been so many years and you're like, oh God, do I just, maybe the more time and distance that gets in between me and this awkward thing, maybe it will go away. And I don't know about y'all, but it doesn't for me. It's the same thing if I owe somebody money or if I borrowed a shirt from someone, that just sticks with me forever. Like gum on the bottom of my shoe. I can't make it go away. And I'm sure you are that way too. So who is that person you need to talk to? Maybe it's not an apology. Maybe it's just that you need to have a conversation. Maybe someone reached out to you and you never responded and you feel like you need to finally. What can you do this week to take a step in that direction? The second action that you can take today is controlled emoting. I talked about this in How to Stop Feeling Like Shit. I believe it's chapter 3, where I talk about numbing out. And it's that thing that you've been stuffing down, the thing that you have maybe felt a little bit, but really haven't given yourself the time and space to feel it. And it might be a couple of different things. It might be something big, like a huge breakup that you went through, or a death in the family, or maybe you got let go at work. It's like this big thing that happened. Maybe it's the loss of a miscarriage or something big, big, big. And you really haven't given yourself the time and space to feel it. And maybe you're not even sure if you have, there's no real tangible measurement of that. But I can assure you, if you are numbing out on a regular basis, that big thing that happened in your life is likely something that you are not allowing yourself to feel. It might be something on a little bit of a smaller scale. It might be something that you just, maybe you had a review at work that really just beat the shit out of you. Maybe you got in an argument with a partner or your friend and you are really angry about it. The thing about anger, which I found so interesting when I started to dive into feelings and emotions and learning about them, that many experts in the world of therapy and psychiatry believe that anger is a secondary emotion that comes from something else. Typically, it comes from hurt. We have been hurt in some way. Either a boundary has been crossed, there was an expectation that we had, whether it was a good expectation or not. Is there ever really a good expectation? I don't know. But whatever the case may be, it might be a big thing or a small thing. And we all numb. I truly, truly believe that we all numb to some degree. And what it takes is taking the time to put down your phone or the booze or the online shopping or whatever it is that we're doing, the busyness, to numb out with and think about it. What are the things that are bothering you? It might be stuff from your childhood. It might be stuff that happened today. Sometimes you might not even know what actually the thing is. And sometimes we don't even really need to know. Sometimes, have you ever had that feeling? I know I have a lot. There's got to be somebody out there listening who's been on the verge of tears, and it may be premenstrual, it may not. It just is that thing where you're so maybe overwhelmed with life. You can't put your finger on what exactly it is, but you just need a good cry. You need that release. I am a huge fan of controlled emoting. So it's like you're on the precipice of totally just falling apart, for lack of a better term. So put on some Adele. That's what I always say. Put on whatever music really makes those tears start flowing for you. I really like to cry in the shower when I'm going to have a really good cry, the kind where you can't breathe and it just is that primal place. And go and cry, or go and be really angry and rageful and whatever it is that you need to get out. Feel it. Feel it. I'm asking you to feel it.
In those moments when money isn't moving as fast as your dreams are, Earnin provides the financial momentum you need to keep moving forward. Earnin is an app that gives you access to your pay as you work, up to $100 per day or up to $750 per pay period. Just download the Earnin app and verify your paycheck. Then access up to $100 a day as you work and leave an optional tip. Any money you access plus tips are automatically repaid from your next paycheck. You can use Earnin to pay for a girls' night out, last-minute gift for a loved one, or an unexpected vet bill. Make Earnin a part of your financial routine and join Earnin's over 3.5 million customers who say things like, when I think about Earnin, I think about financial stability and security. It gives me a lot of peace of mind. Download Earnin today, spelled EARNIN, in the Google Play or Apple App Store. When you download the Earnin app, type in Noise under podcast when you sign up. It'll really help the show. Noise under podcast. Subject to your available earnings, location, daily max, and pay period max. See earnin.com/TOS for details. Earnin is a financial technology company, not a bank. Bank products are issued by Evolve Bank and Trust, member FDIC. How would you describe your relationship with sleep? Do you struggle with falling asleep or staying asleep? Has the quality of your sleep been dragging down your life? Or maybe you've tried other sleep aids only to find they didn't do the trick. Here's the deal. Sleep is the cornerstone of overall health. When we get good sleep, both our minds and bodies operate at their peak. And quality sleep can also sharpen our focus, boost energy, and elevate our moods. So how do we reach that perfect dream state? 3 words. Beams Dream Powder. It's been an absolute game changer for me. I've struggled with insomnia off and on, and overall, falling asleep has always been a challenge for me. My listeners get a special discount on Beams Dream Powder. They're science-backed, healthy hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar. Better sleep has never tasted better. I've taken over-the-counter sleep aids for longer than I'd like to admit, and I feel so much better taking something with natural ingredients. Other sleep aids can cause next-day grogginess, but Dream contains a powerful, all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. If you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, get up to 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/noise and use code NOISE at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/noise and use code NOISE for up to 40% off.
Feel like you're the martyr in your family? You're not alone. Hey, this is Joanne.
And Bree.
And we're from the No Guilt Mom podcast. Bree, we talk to a lot of moms.
Yeah, we sure do.
And if you're a mom who has a to-do list that is so massive that you get overwhelmed and you shut down,
or if you fall into the habit of doing everything for everyone and don't know how to change it, we can help you become a no-guilt mom.
we're going to take you from family martyr to family model. That's role model, so that you role model the behavior that you want to see out of your kids.
You're going to go from being tired and overwhelmed to energized and guilt-free.
Every week, you'll get actionable strategies that you can implement right away from the experts that we interview and from us.
We also have a whole lot of fun, so check out the No Guilt Mom podcast everywhere you listen to your favorite shows.
The third thing that you can do this week to take small action into getting the life that you really want is writing a letter that you'll never send. It can be to anyone or anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be to a person. It can be angry, sad, full of rage, I hate you, I miss you, anything and everything you're feeling in that moment about something that's happening or something that has happened. You can write it to your mom. Remember, this is like letters you'll never send. Write it to your mom. You can write it to your president. You can write it to your ex. You can write it to your fear, the patriarchy, anything that brings up the uncomfortable feelings you're trying not to feel. Note that this is directly related to controlled emoting. When we don't get these feelings out, I always use the metaphor of trying to hold down a beach ball underwater. You're in the pool or you're at the beach and you're trying to push this beach ball down underwater and keep it under. It works for a little while. You can do it. And it also takes a ton of effort, a ton of your energy and your focus to be able to keep this beach ball underwater. And eventually it's going to pop out somewhere. It might go underneath your legs and pop out behind you. It might come up and smack you in the chin. It's going to come up sooner or later. When you don't feel your feelings by writing a letter you'll never send or controlled emoting, things like that, having hard conversations with someone, then it will eventually, and by it, I mean the feelings that you're feeling will come out another way. This is when we lash out at other people that don't deserve it. This is road rage. This is, that all just falling apart for seemingly no reason, air quotes. There is a reason. There is a reason, and it's these valid feelings that you're having. I could go on and on about this all day. I talked a lot about it in the book, but I think sometimes we don't feel them is because we don't think that they matter. For whatever reason, some messaging you got along the way is that your feelings don't matter. For women, stereotypically, we get told that we are too sensitive. We get told that we are hysterical, that, keep your emotions out of this, leave your emotions at the door. Never let them see you sweat, never let them see you cry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that, my friends, is total and complete bullshit and just makes us sick. So please, please do the work. Write a letter you'll never send. It will be helpful. Number fourth thing that you can do to take a small step in the direction that you want to be in is researching, starting your own business. I know that so many of you have this thought in your mind. Not all of y'all, but a lot of you. Whether you want it to be a complete career change, maybe you want it to just be a hobby, or maybe you want it to be a side hustle. So many people want to do this and never, ever start. Or they say, I'll do it when I'm retired. Research is the very first step. You can do that today. The fifth thing that you can take action on, small action to go where you want to go, is go do that creative thing. Go to that poetry reading or the open mic comedy night. I'm not saying you have to get up there on stage to do it. I'm just saying go walk in the door and be an audience member, or go to that political meeting that's in your area, that place you've been thinking about that makes you really uncomfortable, but is the source of the fire that is in your belly. That's another thing you might be saying, oh, when I have more time, I'll do it in the fall when school starts back up and I have more time, or I'll do it next summer when I'm not in school anymore and I have more time. Go to the internet. You are probably holding the internet in your hand, or it's very close to you, and research where you can go this week. Today, maybe today. All right, sixth piece of action. That came out wrong. That's totally not what I was about to say. Sixth action step that you can take this week or today: throw out all the stuff from your ex that you've been meaning to throw away. Or maybe it's a friendship that you had that is no longer, and you still have all of the things. Whatever you need to do to cleanse old energy. Maybe it's just cleaning out your closet or your garage. Maybe you don't have stuff from an ex or a former friend. Maybe it's your stuff. It's taken up space. It's taken up energy. Get some sage afterwards and burn it. Hey, did y'all know that, speaking of sage, that not only does sage cleanse the energy in your space that you no longer want, but it also kills the bacteria in the air? I did not know this. I have not seen the scientific research for it. I heard it on the internet, so we all know how that goes, but I just thought that was really interesting. So throw away the stuff that you don't need anymore. I love a good closet cleanse. There's a couple of spaces in my house where I need to take my own advice here. And there's this stuff that's like, come with us, move to move, like across the country. And I'm like, why do I still have this? I don't need it anymore. So I am also going to do that this week and then burn some sage. And I hope you do too. The last thing I'm going to leave you with that is an action step that you can take today is to start that creative project you've been thinking about forever. Too many times we put off creativity as a luxury, as being unproductive, as something that people do that have too much time on their hands. If you wait until it doesn't feel like it's unproductive or that it's not a luxury, you'll wait forever. Just carve out 30 minutes and do it. It inevitably comes up in every group program that I run. Creativity. There's at least one person who's craving more creativity in her life, and she has not made an effort to do it. So guess what? Her homework becomes, I don't care if it's writing or painting or sculpting or cooking or quilting or singing or whatever it is that you do that lights your creativity fire. We all have it. We're all creative people. If you think that you're not, probably somewhere along the way, somebody was shitty to you about it and told you were bad at drawing or bad at singing or whatever, or that, smart people don't do frou-frou things like that or whatever. Somewhere along the way, there was some messaging that happened about your creativity that has created that belief for you. So I want you to go and do it. You just have to start it. I'm not saying spend 6 hours on Sunday doing your creative project. Just start it, just something small. And I just want to leave you with, I talk to you guys all the time about the difference between passive and active personal development. Passive is when and both are important. Don't get me wrong. Both are super important. Passive is when you are listening to self-help books or reading them or following those people on social media or listening to podcasts, and you don't implement any of it in your life. So you have all of these tools and theories and ideas, and sometimes it might make for really great conversation with people, or it might just be like, that sounds like a really great idea, but it's passive. You're not actually doing anything, but you feel like you are, right? Because you're spending a lot of time on it. Active personal development is when you actually are pulling the trigger, when you are researching starting your own business or going to that open mic night or having that hard conversation, you're controlled emoting, whatever it is. I invite you to do something because you are not here to just be passive throughout your whole life and just think personal development is a good idea. That is not what you signed up for when you signed up for this life. And I hope that that's not what you signed up for when you decided to come and listen to this podcast. I don't care if you take a program with somebody else or if you decide to run for office in your community. Like I'm not attached to what it actually is. I just want you to love yourself enough where you stake a claim, where you draw a line in the sand and say, I'm done just thinking about it. I'm done just thinking that it's a good idea, maybe for other people, or maybe when I have more time. You deserve the best life that you possibly can have. You absolutely 1,000% are worthy of having more happiness, more confidence, the best, most kick-ass life that you want. Climbing down off my soapbox today. I wish you the very, very best. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, thanks again for listening. I would be so incredibly grateful if you haven't done so already, if you could leave a review of this podcast on Apple Podcasts. Super easy if you already listen to your shows over there. But if you don't, or maybe you have the app on your phone, but you listen to the show on a different app, if you could leave a review for this show, it matters so much. I wish I could express how much it matters. I also wish that it didn't matter so much, but alas, it does. So if you haven't already, please go review and rate the show. It would mean so much to me. And thank you so much. I hope you have an amazing day.
Are you a parent in need of a laugh and a little escape? Look no further. Parenting is a Joke is the podcast you've been waiting for. Hey, I'm Ophira Eisenberg. I'm a stand-up comic and parent. And each week I chat with one of my top comedian pals who, just like you, are juggling careers, busy lives and schedules, and raising a family. You can expect candid stories, hilarious mishaps that happen on stage and at home, and just a lot of laughs. There's no expert advice here. Well, actually, sometimes a good idea does sneak its way in, but mostly just pure, relatable fun to remind you that we're all in this parenting adventure together. New episodes of Parenting is a Joke drop every Tuesday, so tune in, get ready to laugh, unwind, and maybe even feel a little bit better about your own parenting. Because sometimes that's exactly what your therapist, pediatrician, and bartender ordered. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast platform.